Good morning. Thank you so much for joining our LinkedIn Live. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. My relaxation coach, Cecil McIntosh, will be on the line shortly. We're going to be talking today about how to get unstuck, that feeling that a lot of us have had or are currently experiencing where we feel stuck in a place of stagnancy where we're not really going where we want to go, or maybe you feel accomplished and you have everything that you want, but you still feel like something is missing. So let me add Cecil on the line so we can get started with our live stream today. And I want to encourage anybody, if you have any questions, please leave them below for Cecil. Hi, Cecil. Thanks for joining in today.
Hi, Makita.
How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Good.
Great. So did you want to get started? I don't have any particular questions about this.
Well, just repeat the topic again and I'll get started.
Sure. So we're going to be talking today about how to get unstuck. It could be two groups of people, either the people that are in a place in life where they're not really where they want to be, they're trying everything that they can. And then the second group are the people that may have accomplished everything, but they still feel like something is missing.
Okay. I'm going to take it right back.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always look at where we are or what the challenges are, but we don't inquire into what got us here. And one of the basic problems we have is a lack of clarity. Now, very, very simple. We are not taking enough breaks. So you start to work, you start your business life. The question is, when do you take your first break? When do you stop? Leave work alone, stop for yourself. We are not taking breaks. And if I were to give an example, let's say you are having breakfast, right? You're having breakfast and you sit and you have your meat in front of you. Most people have a newspaper, a magazine, the cell phone, all these things happen at the same time. So then the question is, that's happening. So you're here for breakfast. Are you actually taking the time to chew your meal? And when you chew that meal, can you hear the noise of the chewing? Can you hear the noise of the chewing as you look at what you're eating? And can you feel what it feels like? Are you masticating what you're eating, or are you just gulping it down? This is what I'm talking about. A simple example of taking a break. We haven't gotten to all the other fancy stuff before. But the reason why we're stuck is because we're not doing these simple things. We're not taking the time to stop and enjoy our breakfast, right? If we were to take it to another step now, say, okay, I give you a 1,000-word document with one period at the end of it. And I say to you, Makita, I want you to read this document and tell me what you think about it. Now, you cannot read a document as 1,000 words with one period. You have to punctuate the sentence first. Then you read it. Then you can report to me. So the challenge we're saying is these are the simple little things that people are not doing today. And then they're wondering, so when you're not doing these things, the mind is running very, very fast. So the mind is running fast. Now you have all these tasks to do. So you have, okay, so you have your day planned. It's beautifully planned. And then telephone call comes in, which you didn't expect. And then you get all upset because the telephone call is not supposed to come in then. It's supposed to come in when you want it to come in. So this is what's happening. These things are going to happen. Now, if you have the clarity, because you're taking the breaks, you welcome these little, I don't call it interruptions, but I call it opportunities. You will welcome them because that's life. Life happens like that all the time. It's not the way you want it to be. It's the way the universe wants it to be, or the way the universe is. So this is the first thing I'm saying is we first have to stop and take a break. The second thing is we need to break everything down into small tasks. Like the 1,000-word document, we need to take everything we're doing and break it into a little piece at a time. A little piece at a time. And if you start breaking things into small pieces, it's beautiful because you can say, I had this thing, this project, and I broke it into 10 pieces. But every time you accomplish one piece, that you feel good about that. So at the end of the day, you accomplished 10 pieces, but you did each piece individually. So it stops you overthinking. It stops when you're doing that, the thoughts can't come in because you're so focused on what you're doing. But you try to do everything at one time, the thoughts come in, the phone rings, and all of a sudden you go into panic. And the other thing that's very important is when these interruptions come in, and they will, you need to be happy and welcome them as a challenge. We don't want interruptions. We decide how we want to live our lives, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But interruptions come in to give you the answer you're looking for. The thing you're looking for, it comes in disguise. But you don't see it as disguise because I want to finish this right now. But a thought comes and say, well, go and do this thing over here. And you say, why should I go do this thing over here when I want to finish this? Or go and check your emails. No, I'm checking. But the answer is in the email. Go call Sue. The answer comes from Sue. So when we're looking for a straight line and things to happen in a straight line, and these interruptions come in quotation marks, they're really opportunities for us to grow and expand.
Now I have a curveball question. How about those people who maybe are a little further on in this development process where maybe they've done like a quiet retreat, they're meditating, they're taking time for themselves, but they're still feeling stuck? Is there something underlying that might be a little bit more deeper that could be causing some friction and some stagnancy in their life?
Okay, I'm gonna answer it from this perspective. Not to be disrespectful of people who go on retreats, not to be disrespectful of people who take yoga classes, not to be disrespectful of anybody. The problem is most people, when they do what they do, they're not like marinating into it, right? They do it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let me give you a good example. You go to the marsh, or you go to the park to walk. So you have this beautiful experience of walking in the park. Then you leave the park and you get back to your car. What happens to the solitude that you experience at the park? It's no longer there. Right? So the solitude that we want to have happens, but it's not a permanent thing. It happens, and then when we get back into the real world, then we can't think anymore. So even for those people who go on the retreats, yes, they're a little bit more advanced, but they still have the same issues because they haven't taken the time to be immersed in it long enough to, that from your experience, you have to be immersed in it for long enough for it to become a part of you because of our conditioning. So although these people have, let's stay with these people who have everything. The issue that the successful people who have made the progress and seem to have all the material things is the things they have inside that they've never ever talked about.
Right.
The pains, the discomforts, like they have a back pain. They never mention that because they have to present a certain way. They have hip pain. They have sciatica. They have all kinds of discomforts in the body. But as far as they're concerned, success means a presentation of an external thing. So most of us don't know how to go inside. And when we do go inside, and when these things are happening, we are suppressing them. We are ignoring them. But there again, those are the opportunities for us to wake us up. But we are not listening to wake up. So how are they going to move on? Well, they have to be able to be aware. The question is aware, clarity again, clarity, and the awareness to understand that whatever is happening to them is happening to them for a reason. They created a problem which is blocking them from doing what they're doing. And this particular situation is coming to their lives to teach them what to do to move from that stuck state. So it's not a fancy answer. It's just the reality of it is you created the problem, you're stuck, and the universe is giving you the answer, but you don't want to do it because you're not hearing what the universe is saying, or you don't understand what the universe is saying to you. So does that answer your question?
It does, and that it does remind me of where I used to be. I used to be one of those people that would like to go to different 3-day workshops on personal development, and then you consume the information, and after the 72 hours you're rereading the content, but then I felt at that time there was something missing. And when I started working with you is when I was able to get into the deeper underlying things that I know for sure I'd never have conversations with anybody about, because you ask certain questions. And one thing I also like with working with you is you make me accountable, because I always used to be like, well, this person said this, or it's this time of the year, and I was caught up in that kind of thing. And I think North Americans in general do that exterior thing a lot. I think other cultures like African and Caribbean and certain Asian cultures go more within, but I think the North American culture really focuses on the economy and this and this and that. So that was a
But
really good example.
it doesn't really matter where you're from, right?
Right.
Let's make it simple here. The key here is whatever problem you are having right now, doesn't matter what it is, you created the problem. Now, I know most people are going to say, well, that ain't true. Well, I'm telling you, and Makita can tell you, that you are not aware that you have created the problem. Why? Because you're conditioning. You grew up, and the church told you whatever the church told you. Your parents told you what they told you. You read the books. You follow the social media, and you think that's the way it's supposed to be. Right? And you follow that path, and then you realize it's not working. And this is important because all that is external. Your parents, the media, the church, social media is all external. We are afraid to go inside and acknowledge those things, that pain and that discomfort we are having, how we swallowing our feelings. Like you're in a relationship and you want it to work, and you're gonna do everything to make it work, and you actually swallow your feelings when the person is doing something that really annoys you. So you're not expressing how you feel, just to keep your relationship afloat, just to make the person happy at your expense. And then, but you see, the interesting about that, you are not aware that this is what you're doing. You're not doing it on purpose. Let me be clear here. It's the way you've been conditioned to behave based on the past. So in other words, we end up living in the past all the time. And as you know, the past is like spilled milk. It's gone. We can't do anything about it. So if you want to go back to the past and blame somebody or blame something, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters now is the present moment. And the other issue that some of us get caught up in is we could say, well, I'm stuck here and I want to get into the future. I want to do this. I want to have. But there again, you go into the future, and the future doesn't exist either. What that exists is now. So the challenge we have is we're not staying present because we don't have the clarity to understand I'm getting messages. Whatever I want, I've created a problem. I need to be able to, and as you mentioned before, until you take responsibility, accountability that you created the problem. As harsh as this might sound, if you understand that you have created the problems, then life is beautiful. But most of us will have a little challenge admitting that we created a problem. But if you really go back to your conditioning and ask yourself the question, what's the reason why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving? Right? You will notice that, for example, when you were 5 years old, you were, say, 2 years old, you weren't behaving like this. You never asked that question. So then when you check and say, well, if I at 2 years old, I wasn't behaving like this, what happened now that I'm in my 30s, 40s, or 50s, 60s? What changed? That's the question we need to be asking. So when you ask the question, okay, I'm behaving this way, I'm having this problem in a relationship, I'm making money, what doesn't really matter. You have a problem. Who cares what the problem is? Did I have the problem when I was 2 years old? No. Impossible. Because you had no condition. You were free as a bird. But the conditioning of, as I said, your parents, the church, the media, all those things, you get caught up in them, and you were told how you're supposed to live, and this is the way you're supposed to go. That's the problem. So now you forgot about all that. So you were excited. Maybe you went to university, you went to trade school, or you didn't go anywhere at all. But you're living life. Now you're saying, everything is good, but I'm not happy. Well, how come I'm not happy? Go back and ask yourself the question. Was I happy at 2 months old? You ask yourself that question. 2 years old, and you realize you had no issues then. So what happened between 2 years old and the place you are right now, when you're 30, 40, 50? What's happened? What's different? The difference is you are living in the past. And you might say, but Cecil, well, that's my mom did this to me, my dad. No, it doesn't matter who did what to you. That's all past tense. You have to be a responsible person. Take responsibility for your actions. Yes, you've learned something. It was wrong. Now you have to take responsibility for that action. And when you learn to take responsibility for that action, then no more issues. Because guess what? You're back to 2 years old now. And the conditioning disappears. And you say, oh, so the two, if you look at it, the two sides of the street you can walk. You can walk the street where is the conditioning, where everything's limited, and all the opportunity, all of here are problems, right? This side is problems, stress, and conditioning. And it's a limited because you can't go too far. Over here now, there are no problems. There are problems, but the problems don't affect you.
Right.
But there are no limitations because you have the clarity. Your thinking is clear. You're aware that everything that comes to you is just an opportunity, not a problem. So this side, this side now, but everything is happening the way it was happening before. It's just your perspective now. You have a new perspective on the way life's supposed to be. So these things are still happening in the world, but it doesn't matter to you because you recognize that it's an awareness and it's not you and you're not the past, you're not the future, you're just the now.
These are great points. The other thing that happens for a lot of us when we don't take accountability is it kind of turns into this inner war that we have with ourselves and a boss, or ourselves and something that's the opposite of our culture, opposite of our racial community, for example. So now you have this mental war against you and your economy, or you and these groups of people, and then that in itself causes more problem because you have the negative experiences that happened in the past, this disempowering belief where you're in a warlike state in your mind, you versus this, or this is against you, and now all these problems are unnecessary, things are happening, and I think a lot of people get stuck in that too.
Because they don't realize that they created the problem. It's
Right.
very simple. If
I have a
you
question.
don't believe, sorry, go ahead.
Can you expand on you created the problem? Because there are people that are going to say, well, I didn't walk down the street and ask that guy at the stop sign to say an explicit because I cut him off in traffic. Like, some people are going to say, how did I create the problem?
Well, let me give you a perfect example. I'm talking to this gentleman and he says, Cecil, I don't want to go shopping. I said, why you don't want to go shopping? He says, I live in downtown Toronto and people are shooting and I want to go shopping. I said, so what's your problem? He says, man, I'm scared. I'm afraid to go shopping. I said, excuse me? I said, let's look at it this way, right? You are afraid to go shopping. This is one side of the street. Now I'm down there shopping and I don't have an issue. So the guy who's shooting and whatever is on this side. He's over there shooting these people and getting involved in what he's getting involved. The police is there, the sirens are there, the ambulance is there. I'm over here walking down the street. He comes over, say hi to me, and then runs back over and do what he's doing. I said, how is that possible? He said, oh, that's true. I do. It's because of the energy you carry. And the energy you carry is fear, and fear has come from your condition in the past.
Right.
But here again, if you're not aware of this, you're going to blame somebody for it.
That's right.
If you start looking at yourself, but we have never been taught to examine ourselves and to question ourselves. That's what I do, and that's basically what I do. Help you to question yourself. So it's not about money, it's not about anything. It's just about you knowing who you are, and everything else you want will fall into place.
Now, it's showing on my, so it looks like we have a few minutes. I was wondering if you can offer a creative practice that people could do where they're feeling down on their luck. Maybe they're having a great day, and then they're triggered by something, and they start to feel as if they were on this, this upward lateral movement, and now it's going ooh, all the way down.
Simple. I would suggest that they journal so that they
Okay.
can see for themselves what to do, because they're not going to listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
So until you journal and you have it in front of you in black and white, you're not gonna. Nobody can tell you what to do or suggest what to do because you're not aware of it. So that's the simplest thing you can do. Journal what's happening, and then have somebody to have a look at it and give you some feedback.
Right. If anyone has any questions right now for Cecil on the line about anything that you're going through or anything that he said you needed some clarification, let us know. All of the people that are watching the replay on LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, leave a comment. And if you have any questions or concerns, maybe you're going through something and you need some clarity. And if you want to go anonymous, meaning you don't necessarily want to add that comment or question on the internet, I have tagged Cecil McIntosh in this live stream here on LinkedIn. He has a LinkedIn page. Feel free to reach out to him and ask him any questions. And he also has a free ebook, which I will be linking below in the comment of this LinkedIn live stream replay. So if you want to check out his ebook, click comments on LinkedIn, and you should be able to see the link. Do you have anything else to share with the audience today, Cecil?
How much time do you have?
As much time as you can offer.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware. I thought we had a limited. We thought we only had 20 minutes. Okay. The thing that is very important is I'm going to go back to clarity. Clarity is the basic answer to everything you want to have. Because clarity another word for clarity is awareness. So let me give an example. Makita, let's say you and your sister went to visit a friend, right? Mm-hmm. And when you got back home and you guys are chatting about the visit, your sister says to you, Makita, did you hear the music that was on there? That record that was playing? The person who was singing? Oh, that was so wonderful. And Makita said, what song are you talking about? I didn't hear no song. But did you see the beautiful carpet, the paintings on the wall, the chandelier? And he said, The point I'm making is, Makita's sister heard everything. Makita didn't hear anything, but Makita saw everything. So this is what we're talking about, awareness. Most of us have a dominant way of receiving information, whether it's visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. Visual means that you see, auditory means you hear, kinesthetic means you feel. So there are three of them. But in the context of Makita now, Makita only operates on one frequency, right? Her sister's only operating at one frequency. Makita sees, her sister hears. But then there's the feeling. Some of us don't have any feelings at all, right? So the reason we're talking about is the clarity now. In order for you to have clarity, you need to be aware on all these ways of information coming into you. It's like 3 radio stations, English, Spanish, and French. Somebody's speaking to you in English, and that's all you know. But French is being spoken, Spanish is being spoken, and in the French and the Spanish discussion, they give you the answers. But you in English, you can't hear anything because you're not aware of it. So that's how we go through life. We go through life where we have all the things being, all the answers being given us, all the information being given us right here, and we can't get to it. And over the 30 years I've been teaching, I've always told my clients that they only, because they only have one frequency, that's 1/3, they're leaving 66 2/3 profits on the table. I'm not talking about looking for opportunities. I'm saying they're there for you to take. The challenge, you can't take them because it's out of your awareness. So I've done my work. We never talk about money. We never talk about money, and I don't deal with that. All I do is make you more aware. So think about it. You're a business person, and you're on the one with bringing in information, whether it's seeing, hearing, or feeling. There's 2/3 of the other information opportunities are right there, but you're not in touch with them. So what's going to happen to your life if you want to talk money? What's going to happen to the amount of money you make? What's going to happen to your health when you become more aware in your communications with your partners and with everybody? What's going to happen to your creativity when you realize that these 2/3 of things that I weren't in touch with? That's what's beautiful about it. So the challenge that we're having is we live in limitations because we conditioned to deal with one aspect of it. But there's so much more, an infinite number of opportunities over here, but we're not aware of them because we are operating on one particular, I call it frequency, or one particular way of taking information in. So when you expand beyond that, okay, first, when you're really stuck, you say, listen, I need some help, because you gotta see you need help. Nobody can't tell you need help. I've had enough of this. That's when it starts, because you are going to find that the universe is going to give you what you want. And when you start saying, listen, I've had enough, I need some help, somebody's going to turn up. You're going to pick up a book, something's going to happen, and you can be led somewhere to someone who can answer the challenge. But most of my clients, we never talk about money, but they make a lot of money, because all we do is they become aware of the opportunities that are already sitting there. So what else do they have to do?
Right.
And all the issues and all the problems they have are there. The answers are there. But because we are so conditioned to the material way of looking at life, we want the bigger this, the bigger house, the bigger car, the material stuff, and we're afraid to come inside. Right? And some people, they go and learn to meditate, and then they have a problem. They get stuck. Because how the heck can you meditate if you can't relax?
Right.
But most people, they get stuck at meditation. They say it's hard, it's difficult, and it is. And then when they come to me, I say, forget about meditation. So that at this moment, that's the second step. The first step is we need to get you some clarity. And we need to get you some clarity real fast so that you can enjoy your meal. So you can sit and really chew that meal without the telephone and the social media and the magazines and answering the phone. Just have a break for you. Take care of yourself. This is the basic thing that I teach all the time. Right? You need to start with some clarity, and you need to do things for yourself instead of getting caught up with everything else that's around you. So
I'm going to agree.
Where I come from.
I'm going to agree with you on that, because before I started working with you, I felt like I was talking to a lot of friends and family about scenarios that were happening in my life, and they were doing their best, but it always felt like it wasn't enough. And I read a lot of books and consumed a lot of content on YouTube, and it wasn't necessarily specific to me. And in the 2 years and 4 or 5 months of working with you, because I got clarity, I find that it's been it's not just clarity in what I call you about. It now opens up clarity in other areas of my life, and it might not come to me at once, but it starts to open up, and it becomes a ripple effect of you're going to your coach for one thing, but then now all of a sudden it's kind of like it's like one rose pellet blossoms, and then the rest of the rose pellets start blossoming.
Now you mentioned that. The other thing too that you just mentioned, I want a bit of clarify that. I saw a couple of people. I was at Whole Foods, and they were saying that one gentleman said, "I lost weight." I forgot what the other lady said she did. No one, yeah, I forgot what the other. But here's what was fascinating. I asked him, "How did you lose weight?" He says, "Oh yes, both lost weight." And I said, "How did you lose weight?" He said, "I read a book." Yeah. How do you lose weight? I went on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against YouTube. I have nothing against reading books. The issue I have is that when somebody has done something, does it apply to you? Everything the issues that they have is that apply to you. So when you're watching YouTube or reading a book, here's what I want you to understand. There are nuggets in everything you go to see. Pick the nuggets from that, and then but make sure that it's personalized for you. Don't take everything they're doing, because they might not be able to eat broccoli or whatever, and you didn't know that, right? You don't know what they can or cannot do. So we don't want you to take everything. Take the nuggets, and then get some help. Because, for example, if you have a thyroid issue and you want to lose weight, you're not supposed to have broccoli. There's a whole bunch of list of things you're not supposed to have. So if you don't know that, and you go to learn to lose weight, and you like broccoli, and the person says, yeah, I like broccoli too, you're doing more harm to yourself than good. So that's what I'm saying, is that you need to be careful. You need to get some expert advice on what you're doing to make sure that you're not doing something somebody's doing. They're getting good results. We're not questioning that. But is it good for you? It's all about you, right? But if you want the shortcut, fine, that's the shortcut. If you really, really want to get to the core of what's going on, then you get some help, somebody who's a professional who can identify the things that you need to do to get what you need to get. Instead of thinking that it's a cookie cutter, everything one fits all. No, that's not the case. We are all wonderful individuals with potential, infinite potential. But we just need to be in a situation where someone or something can help you open it up to enjoy that infinite peace.
The other thing that I want to add too is that when these content creators or people on the internet tell you about these theories, they're applying it to themselves, how they went from rags to riches, for example. They're not telling us everything, and then they can't possibly tell anybody every little thing that happened to them behind the scenes in a 10, 20, 30 minute, even a 3-week course. It's impossible. I don't know if I was speaking to my dad or that came to mind, but I do feel frustrated sometimes because I find some public figures, they're not always honest that they have coaches in the background. They're not always honest that they have mentors. They're not always honest that they have an uncle who's a multimillionaire who led them. I kind of get frustrated when I see these people talk about they're making 6 or 7 figures. I think that's beautiful, but somebody behind the scenes is helping them. I'm not saying somebody can't wake up and become a multimillionaire overnight, or wake up and an invention happens, but they didn't do it by themselves. And I think that what westernized school fails to teach people is it's not just about getting good grades and going to school and getting a job. And I think that's what this Gen Z generation is realizing. They're going to school, and a lot of Canadians, Gen Zs are not even, I think it's a pretty high number, they're not getting work.
What's the Gen Z?
Generation Z, I think they're born between 1990 and something like that, early 2000s, I think, if I'm wrong. I think so. So it's the next generation.
Well, excuse me, but the Gen Z wants it right now.
Right.
And if the Gen Z wants it right now, there are going to be people out there telling them they can have it right now.
Right.
So wherever you are, right? If you're Gen Z, you're millennial, you're non-millennial, it doesn't matter where you are. You're going to find somebody who's giving you the answers to what you want.
Right.
This is where life is. Now, the secret is you need to stop and ask yourself questions and have the clarity to understand what you need and follow that pattern. So, with no disrespect to the social media, it serves a purpose. No disrespect to the gurus out there, it serves a purpose. There are people out there who will follow them because that's where they are. Where we are is that there's another level when you have gone through all that and you're still frustrated and upset, then that's where you come talk to me. So it's fine. You go where you need to go. And when you get tired of that, there's another place for you, and this is where you come to. So I have no problem with that. But and you can't tell the Gen Zs anything either.
Yeah.
Because they know it all. And whoever is talking to them is giving them what they want and feeding them, so they're happy. Then they'll reach a point when they realize that, and when they realize that this is not what they want, then they will shift. But they have to understand that that's not working for them first. So that's all there is to it.
Right. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to the live stream?
No, I think we've given enough. I like to share. I like to give some point. I didn't give enough points for the day. All I would like to add is that if you're interested in what I call drawing back the veil, you know, I mentioned talk about your conditioning, how you're conditioned to behave a certain way. The reason for that is that's not you, but you don't know that because your world is veiled. You're living in a world that's masked. You live in a world that's pretending, but you don't know that. And you might want to challenge me on that. So if you do, or if you're interested in understanding what's behind the veil, my ebook can be found at cecilebook.com. You will get a deeper understanding as to how come you're here and how come you're struggling, what's caused you to struggle, and then you get a chance to get to the root of it, so that you understand that there is a limited way of living life and there's an infinite way of living life. You have to make that choice. Thank you.
Thank you for your time today, Cecil, and everyone on the line. We can't really see who's on the line unless they leave a comment. But again, if you have any questions, concerns, you want to go directly to Cecil, I have tagged him in this LinkedIn Live. If you want to watch the replay, if you're finding it difficult to watch the replay on LinkedIn, I also have it up on my YouTube channel, which is available in my my info link. And again, if you are watching this replay or you're on the live, you know somebody that could gain some value. Some of these conversations and things that we've shared could really spark a change for a loved one, a family member, a colleague, friend. Please send them this live stream, because I know for sure it will inspire them to think or do something. Thanks so much for your time, everybody, and I hope you have a beautiful Sunday and take care of yourself. Thank you, Cecil,
Thanks,
again.
Makita.
You're welcome. Bye.